Reverend Rob Lee. Bold, smart, and straight to the point. This is Tarot with an Attitude.
Hey everybody, Reverend Rob here, bangarang. All right, this is for my Taurus people. All of you out there for the week of August 17th through August 23rd. Let's find out what's going on. Let's take a look at what you're going to be dealing with next week and the best way to handle it. So August 17th through the 23rd, right around the corner. Let's see what we've got going and let's find out. So with this, our light card right out of the gate, the signifier for you is the Hangman, somebody that might be caught in an awkward position or trying to make up your mind about some things. Maybe you've got a problem that you're dealing with, and the Hangman is here to say it's time to take a breather, turn the world upside down, and look at things from a different perspective. Now, your challenge this week is going to be the Four of Cups. What's happened is you become complacent. You're stuck. You're in the same role. What's the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. But you're not happy with that result. You want something different. So it's time to take a look at the exact same problem, turn it upside down, flip it around, and do yourself a favor. Come at this from a complete different angle. So what I'm going to do here in looking at both of these cards, I'm going to pull some clarifiers here, and let's say, what have we got here? Because we have a pretty obvious problem about you're only looking at things one way, and you need to clear your head and start looking at things from a different angle. Also, what we're seeing is you kind of stuck in a rut and things like that. And you're not seeing the forest for the trees. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to pull 3 cards for these 2 cards, all right? And what we've got first out of the gate is the Ten of Swords, all that knife in the back, that feeling like a failure, feeling like you've been stabbed in the back, but it's a sign that things are coming to an end. So what this is saying, we have another 10, the 10 of Wands, opportunities, putting down, you know, what's funny with this deck, it's not funny, but it's funny, okay? The Ten of Swords is talking about ruin. The Ten of Wands is talking about oppression, all right? And this is what's happening. You're staying in the rut. You're keeping in the same place, and it's not allowing you to see the direction you need to go. And with this, we get the Star. So what we're saying here is what I'm being told is that if you will take this time to come about things and say, wait a minute, I have to look at the world differently. I can't keep doing the same thing over and over again. It is time for this to come to an end. It is time for my brain to take a break and look and think about things a different way. My spirit is going to resound. We're going to have to stop and go, wait a minute. It's time for a total thought and heart shift in your will and where you're going. And in this, maybe you need to just take some time, say a prayer, and ask for some guidance. Don't forget to look up and see what's happening. The Star is here to point you in the right direction. So now with that, what's the root of this issue? Where are we going? You know what I'm seeing here is temperance. Temperance. You're like, Rob, how can that be a problem? The root is you're stuck in one thing. You're not opening your blinders. Temperance, the 14. We have 2 major arcana cards here. So this is talking about, this could be a pretty major shift in your life or something you need to look at, okay? About how you're living your life and what's going on. You know, temperance being the problem is what we're talking about is you're not seeing both sides of a story. You're not seeing different ways to do things. You're locked into a one opinion. And temperance is all about balance. It's about opening yourself up, giving yourself a new way to think about a problem. So with temperance here, we're going to look for some clarity on the temperance card, okay? With temperance here, what I'm seeing is we have the Empress, the King of Swords, followed by the Prince of Cups. And this is really cool. So when we're looking at clarifying temperance, okay, we all think we know what temperance means, but you have to look, what are you trying to create? Creativity, the Empress, the goddess, is there to creates all different things. You've got to look at life and look at everything. Each person is an individual. Each task has its own thing. It's not an identical task. Everything is about building something beautiful and moving on with it. We're talking about the King of Swords, you mastering your thoughts around it, getting in control, not letting the emotion, understanding there is more than just your kingdom. If you're wanting to expand, you've got to take on that diligence of the King of Swords and be able to rethink, overthink, and change your whole thought and perspective. The Prince of Cups is here. The Prince of Cups is saying, you know what? Let's charge in and let's look at this from an emotional state of mind. Let's take a look at love. Let's move ahead, but with some compassion. Let's bring some fire and light and joy into our lives. And that's what, it can't all be work. It's funny that we've got the Empress, but then we have the King of Cups, the King of Swords next to the Prince of Cups. Brain power, heart power. Okay? Temperance. You've got to have a balance of both whenever you're looking at things of what's going on in your life or in whatever problem this is you're going to be dealing with. It's going to be very, very important. You know, from the past, you're bringing around the Queen of Swords. It's one way, my way. We're going to do this. The Queen of Swords is very judicious, but again, we're stuck in that mental note, okay? The Queen of Swords is about, she lays all emotion aside and deals with logic and everything, but she deals with it on her own standpoint. So you're bringing this into this upcoming week, and in this upcoming week, we have the Ace of Coins. So, wow, what I'm really picking up here on this Ace of Coins, you are going to be having some great, fantastic opportunities for some new resources to come into your life. But are you going to be able to see it? When I look across this, just this inside spread, the Queen of Swords, you've gotten set in your ways. The Four of Cups, boredom, complacency. This works, it always works. I'm not going to try anything new. The Hangman, the need to change your perspective and look at things differently. There are some things that are coming, and you have the promise of new resources headed your way. Taurus, this is important. This is huge for you to understand that you could be missing out on some things if you're not paying attention. If you don't walk into this new week coming up with your eyes open, with your brain open, with your heart open, and being willing to see things and maybe even someone in a different light. So, what's the talent? What's the strength? The Five of Cups. Ah, that's a strength. Like, Rob, that's a little nuts. You know what? Five of Cups, it's a strength. That which doesn't kill us only serves to make us stronger. We've been through the sorrow, we've been through the pain. And what this is telling me is many of you have resorted, okay, to following this pattern because you don't want to be hurt again. All you've done is look at the pain. But what have you got to gain? So, you have the ability to look at this. What I'm seeing, Taurus, is you have the ability to see where things have gone south, but you also have been given the ability to look and find that cloud in the silver lining. You have been given that as a Taurus trait in order to be able to say, you know what, this didn't work out, but you're able to move on and find something new. And that means you had to change your perspective on life at that moment in time, whatever the grief may be. So when we look at this grief card, again, I'm going to pull some clarifiers for the grief card. Let's see what's going on here. Okay. So I see this, and remember, grief, wow, the Five of Cups. Yes, there can be conflict. Yes, there can be trouble, but fives are creative. If you will open up and see and look at what this card is talking about, don't just say, here's another task, here's another chore. Stop, look up, look for that star and turn around and say, guess what? I can see something good in everything. And that is going to be your key as this is working. So, Five of Cups, what this gives is a talent. I have the Wheel of Fortune, the Eight of Cups. Yep, here we go. and the Five of Swords. You know, what I'm seeing here is an opportunity that's going to be missed. What I'm seeing here is the Eight of Cups. It's time to walk away from something that no longer serves you. That Wheel of Fortune is saying things always change, things always happen. You can't stay the same. You have to change as these things change. The Five of Swords, you're so afraid of feeling defeated that you'll put a fence up and you're walking like this with blinders on, kind of like a mule pulling a plow. Guess what? Pull the blinders off and look and see what's going on around you. Because again, once you understand not everything is in your control and you can get your mindset around that, the Five of Swords talks about getting over the defeat, getting through it, and moving on to a different light and a different perspective. You know, one of the things I'm seeing here, we're going to bring out now what would actually be, you know, the shadow card. I'm going to bring the shadow card out here, all right, and kind of give us some perspective. Here we are, the Death card. That's not the first time in the first sign that this week has brought up the Death card. It's really not. Stop and think about this for a minute. Why do we fear the Death card? We really shouldn't. What the Death card is saying is, you want things to be different, you got to let some stuff go. And maybe what you need to let go of is the way you're looking at the world or the way you're looking at the problem that you're facing. So you're going to be going through something this coming week. Make sure that you don't just rush in, that the brain doesn't take over and we overanalyze and we plot and go, this is it. Stop, breathe, look at the problem from a fresh light, get that bird's eye view, but then start coming in and going, oh, wait a minute. Maybe there's some things. The Death card here talks about maybe the usual way you do things. Time to let that go. Maybe it's time to take another approach. You know, when I'm looking at the Death card, this card is actually a very pretty card. And I'm using the Baroque Tarot for the main reading and the Sun and Moon Tarot for my clarification, if you want to know. But the Death card is nothing to be afraid of. But we fear it because we don't want to deal with change. And a lot of times that's what I'm seeing here with the Hanged Man being, that's who you are. You're you don't know where to go. You don't know where to turn. And the Four of Cups is talking about complacency. We have to take a look at being able to find new things and new ways of doing things. The Death card is here. You know what? This is really cool. All ones so far. And we've got, oh, wow, what a message in the Death card. We have the Magician. This is talking to you, the individual. This is telling us we have the power. We have everything we need to do. We've been given. Don't shut out your own resources that you are given and that are your God-given right since birth. You know what? Followed by the Ace of Swords and then by the King of Cups, or the Ace of Cups and then the King of Cups. You know, the Ace of Cups. When we cut old stuff loose, we can find our magic again. We can see all new things, a new light, new happiness. And that King of Cups says, you know what? Where I once found toil, where I once found problems, where I once found all kinds of stuff, okay, that wasn't in joy, I can run on my horse through the ocean. I can carry my cup, and nothing but flame and goodness is going to come out of it. The Death card is to be embraced this week. You need to understand it is to be embraced by you, for you. There's nothing to fear. What's the old saying? There's nothing to fear except fear itself. Well, one of the things we fear about doing things different is it might provoke a change, and we actually fear the change. If you start drilling down into the root cause analysis, what does this mean? Where does it go? It's fear of change, because change means I got to question ideals, things I was sure of, or whatnot. What I'm talking about here in an overall reading, finally, is to make sure that you understand, okay, that this week is up to you in that Magician. This week, it's up to you to find your own glory, to find your own light, to find your joy. That Five of Cups is there. But it's nice to know that Spirit is saying, I've given you that ability. You've got to get out of your head and change your headspace and say, I can do this. That Queen of Swords, it's going to be better for me, okay? Not everybody else, might be them in the long run, but ultimately it's better for you, and you're going to be able to bring all new resources and see some new things that are coming into your life. Temperance. Remember, you have to embrace temperance. Not embracing temperance has been an issue. Balance. I'm stuck in my ways. I'm stuck where I'm going to go, and nothing has changed. And then you go, I don't know why everything's the same. All right. Remember, definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. Bangarang.